And we are live. Outstanding. Hello, everybody. It's Jack Heald, the dad you wish you had. And you will notice I've got my good equipment back. That was a difficult couple of days living without my cool my Focusrite 6x6. So I guess today's episode is brought to you by the good folks at Focusrite. If you are a professional musician or somebody who works professionally in audio and you're not using Focusrite digital interfaces, why not? These are really cool, and the support is really good in spite of the fact that it comes from 8 time zones away from me. They're based in England, so I'm in Arizona, which is currently on Pacific time. So that means I'm stuck with waiting on overnight support. But you know what? They've done a really good job. Shout out to the folks at Focusrite. I'm really grateful for you. Let's see if I can get this blasted microphone. I've got a fantastic boom mic that I waited for years to get the exact right boom mic, because inevitably the springs on a boom mic are they're terrible. They just don't last. They don't work, or the metal is bad. A million different problems. And I finally got a really good one from Rode. And the springs on this they're like automobile springs. I could put 15 microphones on this guy. My mic isn't actually heavy enough to hold it down. It's very strange. All right. Let's get started. Let's pause a moment and drink a toast to the beauty of this present moment. Raise your glasses with me. Sorry, look over here to this camera. It is really good to be alive. It's especially good to be alive these days, isn't it, folks? All right, today I want to talk about meditation, how I meditate and why I meditate. I suspect most of you who are watching this will resonate to one extent or another with what I'm about to say. Why do I meditate? Well, I meditate because I need to. I meditate for the same reason that I exercise. I meditate for the same reason that I eat good food instead of junk food. Not only does it make me feel better, but I know it makes me healthier. It makes me more able to deal with the stresses of everyday life. So, do you have any stress in your life? Is there any new stresses coming? Physical, mental, social? Whatever kind of stress you're facing, you need to be taking care of yourself. Body, mind, and soul, right? Of course you do. Well, meditation is one way that I take care of my mind, and it often tends to help with my body and my soul as well. That's the why, because I have to. Now, let's drill down a little bit into why I have to. In our day and age, we are absolutely flooded with messaging, with information, with images, with sound. It's all coming into your brain all the time, and your brain is working to filter out most of it because that's what our brains are for. They're great filtering mechanisms. Meditation is a time when you stop taking things in so that your brain doesn't have to engage in the filtering process. It's a time when you shut all the input out, shut it away, and allow your brain some rest. It's kind of the same reason that a lot of folks engage in intermittent fasting. It gives, just as fasting gives your digestive system a rest that it needs to recover its own power and its own energy. In the same way, meditation is a way you give your mind and your brain two different mechanisms, but you give both of them the rest that they need. All right, that's the why. Now, the how, and that's probably the big one. I spent years trying to find a way to meditate that worked for me, and without any success. And when I say years, I mean I literally tried for, I would bet, 15 years. Yeah, easily 15 years to try to find a meditation method that worked for me. I hope that you can already understand, because I am saying this, that there is no one right way to meditate. The only right way to meditate is the way that you find that works for you. Now, as it turns out, I've found 3 different ways for myself to meditate, but it took me years to find even one. The one that I found that finally turned it on for me, which is a weird way of talking about shutting out everything and getting still and quiet inside my own mind, was a technique Wayne Dyer talks about. I can't remember the name he gave it, but briefly, what I do is I meditate on a phrase. I either use the first phrase of Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, or the first line of the Tao Te Ching, which is the Tao which can be named is not the eternal Tao. And what Dyer said was, take your mind, take your focus and concentration and put it in the spaces between the words. So for the first line of the Tao which can be named is not the eternal Tao. My first act of meditation is to close my eyes and then focus on the space between the word the and the word Tao. And as long as I can keep my focus in that empty space between thou, the, and Tao, I stay there. And as soon as my mind starts wandering, I move to the next space between Tao, the Tao that can be named. I move there. And it gives me a chance to have 10 or 11 different places where I'm focusing my energy, my mind, my attention on emptiness. And that worked for me. It was fascinating. I finally found a way to get my body, mind, and soul all still for a while and rest and recover. Now, what do I get out of it? Well, you know what? What I get out of it is irrelevant to you. If you are someone who feels like you need a meditation practice, you already know you do. Why you need it is your reason. They're not mine. Mine are probably different from yours. Mine are probably different from everybody else's. And ultimately, it boils down to because we need it. So, I have 2 other methods that I learned that also work for me. If I use one, I tend to use the other one in combination with it. But I have 3 different meditation methods now that I have learned how to use that really help me. So I want to finish up with this. If you are aware of the need to meditate in your own life, don't give up. Find a way that works for you. And if you don't find a way that's working for you, don't get out on yourself and don't beat yourself up. I literally spent 15 years trying to find a way that worked until I found one that actually worked. Beating yourself up is the exact opposite of what you need. All right? So don't give up. You'll find something. You'll find a way to care for your brain and your mind as long as you just keep trying. And, for those of you who want more information, go ahead and ping me, either leave a message on Twitter or email me or leave a message on YouTube. One way or another, I'll help you out with different meditation methods and techniques that I found that work for me. I'm no expert on meditation for anyone except myself. I know what works for me, but maybe my experience will help you. All right, I'm Jack Heald, the dad you wish you had. Please be sure to subscribe. As Bridget Fedesi says, press my bells and buttons. Oh, I love her. You ought to subscribe to her too. She's a gas. We'll talk to you tomorrow.